Saquon talking about how my body reacts on game day, right? How do you feel about that, Key?
I'm okay with it because I understand the language, and he's
Translate.
just not giving anything away right now. He doesn't want them to get an edge and understanding that he may or may not be playing. He wants to make them feel that way. He's certainly going to take the field tonight. He gives the Giants the best chance to win. Is he healthy? Yes, or else he wouldn't be out there. They wouldn't have him practicing. You cannot, on a short week, not be at full strength in practice, miss time, rotating in and out with other guys. No, he has to get the reps to be able to, get back to form. And when you decide at the 11th hour you're going to tell your team you're not ready to go, guess what? That's worse than that's worse than anything because you're leading people on to make them believe you are ready to go.
So there's no way that's happening, right?
No, you don't do that.
Jay, which New York Giant has more to prove tonight? Daniel Jones or Saquon?
It's Daniel Jones. Yeah, that's not. I don't think that's a question. If you're asking me out of those two, I think it's Daniel Jones. But if you're asking me who has to make it work for either Saquon Barkley or Daniel Jones, it's Jason Garrett. And we talking about Saquon Barkley. Is he ready to go tonight? Well, yeah. If the offense isn't predictable,
well,
every
game over.
first down. Oh, what? Here we go. We're going to run the ball every first down because that's what we do. We're not going to play up tempo. We're not going to, throw any quick slants. We're not going to have any play action on first down. Makes life difficult for Saquon. We saw that against Denver. Same thing for Daniel Jones. You know that every second and third down, when you're playing at a deficit, now you have to throw the ball. Makes the offense predictable. So I would like to see how Jason Garrett utilizes both Saquon and Daniel Jones in a game like tonight.
Well, more creativity certainly helps an offense out.
Shocking.
When you go run, pass,
jeez,
run, punt, people will eventually catch on. But a lot of coaches try to set things up using the run game. And if you can get to 2nd and 4 because you gained 6, now that's more manageable. You got 2 downs to pick up the 4. Or if you get 2nd and 5, you got 2 downs to pick up the 5. I think that is a philosophy that works when you have somebody that's healthy like Saquon Barkley. If you don't, then you have to be a little more creative with the formations, things of that nature. Let's just not line up in regular sets 2x2 and decide to do that. You got to get in a bunch. You got to motion guys across. Got to get it in empty sets. You got to do variations of things so that your offense won't be predictable because after a while, everybody knows what you're going to do.
Apparently, Jason Garrett doesn't know what you just said, though, because this is the question for me, Key and Jay. I want to hear your opinion on this, too. This is what's out there with Giants fans, right? Saquon Barkley won't run between the tackles. Now, other fans will say, who are the tackles? Mm-hmm. Saquon's a home run hitter. He's always been a guy looking for the home run. But this goes back to, like, Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith. Do you want the guy who gets you those predictable gains, or do you want the guy who sometimes might get tackled for a loss but also might hit the home run anytime he touches the ball? Is Saquon not a guy who will run between the tackles, Key? Is that a problem?
No, it's not. He does run between the tackles. I just saw some clips as we were coming into the show where he's running between the tackles against the Broncos. So I'm not sure what –
That's the reputation.
I'm not sure what people are seeing or what they're thinking when they say run between the tackles.
I think they mean a guy who's going to go north-south instead of east-west.
That's between the tackles right there.
It right there.
So I don't know what they're talking about.
You also have to have an offensive line, right?
And that's considered a toss play, pulling a guard. That has nothing to do with running between the tackles.
Right.
But here it is again. He bounced that get between the tackles.
But even when Saquon was at Penn State, though, he was more bouncy running east to west. Like, he likes to maneuver that way. But when you say, hey, running through the tackles in the O-line, okay, well, that's a glaring weakness of the Giants. So if the O-line isn't doing their job, obviously Saquon has a talent that I think he can mitigate that to a degree. But, like, what kind of creative play calling are you doing to open things up for Saquon?
Well, it depends on if they're calling trap plays, if they're pulling guards, pulling tackles, pulling centers, what's available to them. Are they moving the nose tackle out of the way so he can go right up the gut, then bounce it? It just all depends on what they're doing from a scheme standpoint.
The reason I like something that I am genuinely curious about, coming out of college, I was like, just on paper, that's the best running back prospect ever. If you had to say size, speed, maneuverability, how elusive he is, he can catch. work ethic, all like saying all the right, Key, as Key does this in the morning sometimes, he'll start giving you football speak, but like just the right kind. Like that's the dude who I would think, and then 2,000 yards from scrimmage with 15 touchdowns as a rookie. It hasn't panned out that way. Is that strictly injury?
Well, it has panned out that way, though. Max, you mentioned injury on the back end of that. His first 2 years in the league, he was fine. He just he got injured. His first year, you mentioned, dude was crazy. His second year, he was going nuts. He just had a little nicks and bruises. Then he tears his knee last year. So he's done everything that he needed to do to prove to people that he was worthy of the pick. Now he just needs to come back off the ACL injury and pick up where he left off when he was healthy.
Jay, are you buying what Saquon was selling last week? Like, yeah, the yards per carry was like 2 point something. But look, I had to get that first game out of the way. The offensive line's not very good. And now he can get going at some point?
I mean, on a short week of rest, I hope he can get going. I mean, considering his history now, like when you think about Saquon Barkley, I automatically go back to the injury and the fact that he played through a lot of injuries. So I want to see him sustain, and I think that's the question. Can he sustain a high level of play without being injured again?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.